Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, and thank you for stopping by. All right, guys, on this episode of the Bullet Points this morning, we're going to do what we always do. We are going to dive into an opinion piece that's really showing an underlying current on the gun control side of the narrative. Now, this is interesting. But what do you guys think in the comments field below? Do you think the new gun Senate negotiation deal is just smoke and mirrors, as this author is implying? Or do you think there's something else going on? I'm curious what your guys' thoughts are and where you land in relation to what this author is saying, because again, this is the Hill coming out and saying it's smoke and mirrors. And that is interesting, and that's what we're going to dive into right now. Everything will be linked in the description box below for your review. Let me know what you guys think, and if you are new, we are always trying to earn that subscription to build into more information, more people in the ranks to getting that information quickly, and we'd love to have you along with the party. Make sure that notification bell is on, and let's hit it. I'm excited to hear what you guys think on this, because this is interesting. Is the Senate's gun legislation the first step or the last? Now, this is an opinion piece by The Hill, as I mentioned, came out on Sunday. Earlier this month, the U.S. House of Representatives passed a series of gun protection measures. That's a nice way to say that. The legislation prohibits sales of semi-automatic rifles to anyone under the age of 21, ends sales of bump stocks and unserialized and untraceable ghost guns, bans sales of high-capacity magazines that hold more than 15 rounds of ammunition, expands background checks to include gun shows, online and other commercial transactions, and specifies requirements for the storage of guns. Now, we said on this channel, right when these came out, when they were pushing through the House, this was nothing. This was just throwing stuff against the wall that was not going to stick. Well, even this author is about to concede that exact point. Check this out. Despite widespread public support for these reforms, only a handful of House Republicans voted for them. I'm angry. Representative Jim Jordan, Ohio, said the measures take, quote, Second Amendment rights, God-given rights, away from law-abiding citizens, which they would. Republicans pronounced the House bills dead on arrival in the U.S. Senate. Okay, so we're all on the same page here. That was a bunch of noise and much ado about nothing. But, check this out. This is where it gets really interesting because they start going after the Senate deal. That said, the measures passed by the House do address the fundamental issue, easy access to gun. That's opinion. That is not fact. The Senate bill, which is as far as the 10 Republicans are willing to go, is little more than gun smoke and mirrors. And this is where you start to get into a very interesting conundrum. Because as these things develop and as things come down and the more information I get, I'm going to bring it to you as fast as I can. That's why you need to be subscribed with a bell on. But they're looking at this and they've got to convince the left side of the aisle that this is something worthwhile in putting their vote on. Because as I mentioned earlier on in multiple videos in the past 2 weeks, they're stuck behind a rock and a hard place. They don't have any of their desired leftist wish list for gun control in this proposal. It's not even written yet. Well, as of making this video, it might be soon enough. But they don't even have anything. So the far left says, why are you voting for that? That's meaningless. And the moderate Democrats go, something is better than nothing. They're now stuck between, how could you vote for that? And we've got to do something. That's a very uncomfortable place to be for Democrats. And somehow, Republicans have put the onus on Democrats on this, which is worth noting. But let's dive in here because I want to show you how they start to undermine the entire point of this proposal. 2/3 of K-12 schools in the United States already have security personnel on campus. In over half of them, at least one officer is armed. Nearly all schools limit access to buildings. More than half regulate access to school grounds as well. Since 2018, Florida has spent around $900 million beefing up security against mass situations. So, I'm a little lost here. Are they upset that it's not 100%? Are they irritated that we would dare consider hardening the schools and protecting our most precious asset, our children? This part's a little weird because they're really just complaining, it's a nice way to say it, about the fact that they think hardening the schools won't work when even in this own article they're saying, well, only half of them are. Well, that means half of them aren't. Why don't we take care of that before we start infringing upon people's rights? Just saying. All right, so now, we're going to keep going into now something very important that has occurred a lot on this channel. We've nailed this, at least from a perspective of what they tend to do here. Listen to the verbiage of this, as they're referring to the 1994 AWB, or the assault weapons ban. Despite the numerous flaws of the assault weapons ban of 1994, the bill covered only a few categories of weapons, most notably AR-15s, grandfathered in 1.5 million assault weapons, and 25 million large-capacity magazines that had previously been purchased, and allowed the ban to expire in 2004 when its impact was still increasing. Translation, it had no impact. Mass situations and fatalities were 70% less likely to occur. Notice how they said less likely, not were. Very important, because this is all based on conjecture. After the ban was lifted, there was an immediate and steep increase in situations. That's because they changed the definition of situations to 3+ or more, and that's why you get all across the board. But that's not what this video is about. One study estimates that 314 of 448 deaths in them might have been prevented had the ban remained in place. Estimates might have been. This is completely based on conjecture. There is no hard, fast facts that they're trying to sell you on. That's important to note. But now, this is where they start to wrap this up, how this is all smoke and mirrors. The bills passed by the House of Representatives, which in my opinion do not violate the Second Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, that's because you want gun control, might well have brought down the horrifically high numbers of suicides, homicides, and situations in America. Nonetheless, even the much less impactful legislation in the Senate has been praised as an important and long overdue step in the right direction. Perhaps it is, but only if we do not allow Republicans who are responding now to intense political pressure to do something to emerge, quote, smiling from the world's great snare uncaught and make this first step their last on the issue. Okay, and so that goes into the other piece here. They're upset that this is as far as they're going to go. They're upset that the Senate deal does not even broach on their favorite subject the House passed. And they're openly saying, there's only so many steps we can do without violating the Constitution, which shows you the Achilles heel of the gun control movement. They're going to try to take and take and take, but our system is so strong that it's going to rebuke them every single time they go too far. And this is going to be no different. Let me know what you guys think in the comments field below. Do you believe it's smoke and mirrors? And if so, I will see you on the video tonight at 9 p.m. segment. I'm Braden. See you later.